Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream show, y'all. Hopefully you're ready for a good time and a great show. I know I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate all you guys for joining me. Definitely looking forward to a good time tonight and a great show. As always, we're going to talk a little bit about the weather, what's going on now, what's coming up, what's biting, show you photos, and answer your questions live during the show. But we're also going to be giving away $1,500 in free fishing trips. That's right, $1,500 in free trips every Sunday night during this live stream show, along with what's going on now, what's biting, the weather, and answering your questions live. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, in order to be eligible to win free trips, you do want to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. You also want to make sure you watch the entire show live, because at random intervals we do those giveaways live on screen and we make those announcements. So you want to make sure you're watching live, because when your name does get called, if it gets called, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address. So make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, like it if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, and also don't forget to share it with your friends. Tell your friends about the show, get some more folks watching, because the more of your friends who are watching, the higher the chances are that they have a chance to win some free trips, and they'll take you fishing because you told them about the show, right? So make sure you tell your friends, tag your friends, share the show, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up or a like to help us spread the word as well. And then also want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinolles Point Drive South in St. Pete. This show is brought to you by our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. Huge selection, killer deals, great shop, great people. So really appreciate our friends over at Gator Jim's Tackle. Also want to make sure we give a shout out to all those who are sending stars. Stars help us to fuel the show on Facebook, and we really appreciate all of those folks. We had Jeff Reedy with a big 1,200 stars. Thank you, Jeff. Phil Batisto, Sam Lang with a big 830. Thanks, Sam. Stephen Batchelor with a big 500. Thank you, my friend. Mick Higgins, Jason Richmond, Larry White with a big 500. Appreciate you, buddy. Adam Franklin, John Herman Sr., Robert Bush, Greg DiFilippo with 1,000 stars. Thanks, Greg. And John Herman Sr. as well. Appreciate all the stars. Also want to give a shout out to those in our supporters groups. We really appreciate your support and definitely help fuel the show as well. Remember, the supporters group is only $4.99 a month. It gives you access to our private group. You get access to our private after show. And if you join on our Facebook supporters group, you get access to that private community through the week that we kind of share more info, behind the scenes news, and up-to-date stuff. So really appreciate all those in the supporters groups as well. Tyler Maloof, appreciate those stars, my friend. All right. Also want to make sure we tell you how to win free trips, which we already did. You comment once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream, then you stay tuned in to the entire show live. And if you're picked as one of the lucky winners, you got 5 minutes or less to claim it. And then also want to make sure we get into the photos and show you guys what we've been catching. Then we'll talk a little bit about the weather and what's going on, make some announcements. Hopefully we'll hear from Capt Mike, and then we're going to get into your questions. That's kind of the agenda for tonight's show. Remember, if you have a question you want answered live during the show, text it to the phone number on the screen. So if you have a question you want answered live during the show, text it to the phone number on the screen. If you drop a comment, we don't always see it because we're streaming to so many different Facebook pages and so many different platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Trovo. So we don't always see your comments. So if you have a question you want answered live, got to text it to the phone number on the screen, 727-393-1947, our main office number. And then also want to make sure, before we get into the photos, one thing we want to make sure we explain to you guys also is that We've been having some problems on Facebook lately. 2 times in the last like 3 or 4 weeks, we've had issues where the Facebook stream goes down, but YouTube never seems to go down. YouTube is super solid and reliable. So if for any reason you have problems watching on Facebook, switch over immediately to YouTube. Just go to youtube.com, search Hubbard's Marina. You'll find our channel and you'll be able to join us live on YouTube. So if you have problems on Facebook, switch over to YouTube. Last week, the show messed up on Facebook and we continued without missing a beat on YouTube. Same thing happened when Scott was here talking inshore snook fishing or beach snook fishing. YouTube or Facebook cut out at the end, and we finished up on YouTube. So if for any reason we have problems throughout the show on Facebook, switch on over to YouTube. It is super reliable, and so far we haven't had any issues. So huge help. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. With that, let's get into the photos and show you guys what we're catching right now. And then we'll get into the weather, some announcements, and then your questions. So first things first, photos inshore. Let's see what we've been catching inshore. Redfish bite has been pretty solid, consistent around the area, doing pretty darn well on the old redfish action. We had a pretty good push of redfish prior to that full moon. A lot of fish moving around. We had a lot of rain, and we had a lot of redfish moving up into the bay and into the back bay, and really getting thick around the sandbars, oyster bars, mangrove shorelines. A lot of those high tides, the fish pushed up into the trees. The cut bait on the tree lines were working really well. And then at lower tides, those fish were coming out, hanging on those oyster bars and around those potholes and flats. Snook fishing has been solid, definitely doing real well out there on the beaches for the snook. The snook action has been real good to us in the passes and on the beach as well. We are seeing some good action up in the bay on snook too, but a lot of those fish are out on the beach and in the pass for sure. So definitely exciting to see the snook action. Can we update the date on YouTube once we're live?
Yeah, just finish the photos and I'll go ahead and hop over.
Oh, I got you because you can't do it because I have the screen. Touche, buddy. Josh will update the date on YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. Definitely some good snook bites around the area. Very active. We saw them this week around the docks. One of our dock masters caught quite a few snook midday, even during the heat of the day, feeding on those carcasses underneath the dock. So some good action around the area. Snook are prolific. Our buddy Damon caught him a nice one in a local pass. That is one of my favorite snook spots, if you can tell where that is from those rocks. Definitely grew up fishing that same jetty and caught a lot of fish out there for sure. Trout action's been good out on the beach, around the passes, the dock lines, some really steady trout. Even though the water really heated up, we're seeing those trout still pretty prolific on those deeper areas, deeper docks, deeper structure. Water movement has been key, and overall going real well inshore. We'll work our way near shore and offshore and show you what's going on a little bit deeper. Near shore and offshore, been doing well out there. Really solid bite on the offshore side of things. Oh, look at that. I've got it pulled up here, Josh. I can do it myself. All right, so near shore and offshore side of things, we are catching some nice ones. Even occasionally, some of the hogfish action has been going well. Hogfish, generally, we don't see a lot of hogfish this time of year because most of the time when the water gets hot, those hogfish get a little bit more spread out and not so concentrated. When it cools off, the hogfish get up on those rock piles and ledges, and we see the hogfish action really concentrate. So most of the time, we catch the most hogfish right there from about October-ish, November-ish, through about, I would say, April, May-ish. And definitely is kind of the peak hogfish catching time. But through the summer, we catch them every now and again here and there on the 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day. So it's not to say you don't have a chance for those hogfish. And as you can see here, this was actually a half-day trip this past week, or maybe at the end of last week, that they did real well. Caught a few nice hogfish on that half day. We had a 10-hour not too long ago that had a couple nice hogfish too. The red grouper bite's been picking up. Today's 10-hour trip had 8 keeper red grouper, which was super impressive. It was a little bit of a tougher bite on the 10-hour today for the lane snapper and the vermilions. Not a lot of bycatch, but 8 keeper red grouper. That was exciting to see. Big old African pompano, some nice catch and release gag grouper, and that was not on a chicken rig. Just want to point out Captain James and his daughter there, not using a chicken rig. I want to make sure I emphasize that. Some solid catch and release gags. We do have our gag grouper solid announcement, and Captain Will said on the 44-hour trip he found an area loaded down with 20+ pound gag groupers. So Captain James and Captain Will are both very confident we're going to have a stellar gag grouper season coming up September 1st through September 15th, or through September 14th, end of day, will be that gag season. And it's 2 fish per person, not 1 like they wanted, which is nice news. Mutton snapper, a lot of big mutton snapper lately. Look at that big boy. Scott's eyeballing that fish. Look, Jason's looking at the camera. Scott is just staring at that beautiful mutton. Love it. I don't know if you guys can see his eyes if you're watching on a phone or a computer screen, but there it is, just staring at that fish's head. It's pretty awesome. I would be too. That is a gorgeous mutton snapper, and you don't get a lot of those big dogs, and it's cool to see so many of the mutton snapper being caught lately. Big old red grouper. We're seeing stud red grouper. The 12-hour extreme had 1 red grouper that was like 28 pounds maybe a week and a half ago with Captain Joe. Captain Seabass brought in a red grouper that was almost 24 pounds. We're seeing really big red grouper lately, which is cool, and a lot of them as well. So the red grouper fishing, red grouper catching has been really solid. Big dead baits working well, live baits too. Red snapper, of course, have been super prolific, and average size lately has even seemingly gone up. We had a red snapper on this 39-hour or 44-hour trip that came in this morning that was almost 24 pounds. Stud. Almost 25 pounds, actually. It was 24 and change. Pretty cool to see. So some really big red snapper. Look at that red grouper. Bigger than that red snapper. That's crazy. Crazy, right, Josh? So a good time to get out there and do some catching offshore on our long range trips. 39-hour, 44-hour, 12-hour extreme is where you want to be for the big red snapper, big red grouper. You got a chance for some red grouper on the 10 hours, but we don't catch a ton of them. That's a funny looking head that red snapper's got. It's almost like an African pompano head. Zoom in on the front of that thing so the people can see that forehead. He's had some problems in his life for sure. Looks like he ran into the wall of the fish tank one too many times or something. That's pretty funny. So good fishing, good catching lately for sure. Very, very, very exciting. Ooh, someone said they have Boonan coming. New Orleans. I love me some New Orleans. I always said if I was to live anywhere else in the Gulf, along the Gulf Coast, it would be New Orleans. I mean, they're just such a cool culture, and the food there is way better than anywhere else. But I love Florida. I love where I'm from. Central West Florida is the bee's knees, if you will. But New Orleans cooking, that Cajun food, boy, it's got my heart for sure. Love me some Boonan. All right, I digress. Someone just said the word Boonan and it totally sidetracked me. So we showed you the photos. Let's get into the weather. Show you guys what's going on weather-wise. we're going to pop on over to hubbardsmarina.com. Unfortunately, we've got some weather to talk about tonight. It was pretty interesting. If you guys watched our 44-hour trip video this morning, we had our first really true summertime trip on that 44-hour. And basically what I mean by that, it was still. No wind, no seas, just like a lake, like a pool, if you will. Not even a ripple on the water, Captain Will said. So no current on the full moon, which is odd. No wind, no sea, no real heading. So it kind of makes it tricky. You drop down, you catch some fish, and then you got to move. You got to keep sticking and moving. A lot of work on the captain and crew, but a lot of moves. You end up putting together a really nice catch of fish. And as you saw, the 44-hour did well. If you watched the video this morning, they had a nice pile. But it definitely is getting to that time of year, and that means a lot of times you get into those midday doldrums where the bite is really tough, and that's when you got to kind of lighten up the tackle a little bit. You don't want to start with light tackle, but if the bite is tough, fish aren't cooperating, lightening up the tackle, shrinking the size of the bait can get those finicky, slow-biting fish fired back up. As far as the weather is concerned, you can see here tomorrow we get a little bit of moderate weather, around 15, 18 miles an hour, pretty high rain chance tomorrow. It calms down Tuesday. Tuesday's not terrible, a little bit of an increased rain chance, but pretty calm and sunny overall. Then Tuesday night into Wednesday, it gets a little bit nautical out there. A lot of rain, a lot of wind. It calms down a little bit Thursday into Friday. And the weekend looks moderate, nothing crazy, but definitely a little bit of an increase in the breeze. So your best weather days coming up, if you didn't make it out there today, is probably Tuesday. And then on the back side of the week, coming up on the weekend, doesn't look bad at all. But rain chances are definitely up even through the weekend, but wind is down. Really the windiest period is kind of Tuesday through Friday. We have some wind hanging around, but nothing crazy. It's not going to make us cancel 39 hours or anything, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of trouble for the Flying Hub 2 12-hour extreme trip. Wednesday's trip is definitely in a little bit of peril. Potentially Friday's trip too, but it does calm down a little bit Friday. Thursday would be tough on an extreme trip, but the 39-hour trip, the Tuesday 39-hour trip doesn't look bad at all. It's under 4 foot, which is nothing for the big Florida fishermen. Just a little bit tough if you're trying to go 40 miles an hour in a 40-foot boat on the 44-foot boat on the Flying Hub 2. And then later weekend looks gorgeous. So weather really gets nice again after Friday. So I would say a majority of weather concern is Wednesday through Friday is what we're watching. And let's see why. Let's go to the Hubbard's Marina Weather Links page. And right here on our Weather Links page, again, that's fishing trips. Second one down is Weather Links. The Ultimate Storm Forecast page, Mike's weather page. I love checking out his website. He does such a good job making everything super easy to find. And we'll skip on over. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. There we go. Let's see. All right, so Monday, a little bit of moisture on top of us. That's what's causing the wind. And then you've got a low pressure and a high pressure fighting over the area, which causes a pressure gradient and the increase in wind for Monday. So Monday basically is this low pressure and high pressure fighting over the area is going to increase that wind. And then the high pressure kind of tends to dominate. And then you can see why the rain chances are going up Tuesday night into Wednesday. Ooh, definitely some nautical weather, a little bit more moisture in the forecast. It's almost like something tries to develop again. You can see some spinach going on in the northern Gulf. So it's going to be an interesting week. Looks like it's going to be a wet second half of the week. So we'll have to pay attention to that and see what goes on for sure. What's going on, Captain Mike? How are you, buddy?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
We are doing well, man. Another day in paradise and another
Yes,
live
sir.
stream show. We're pumped. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It should be a pretty cool week. I like ICAST, and looks like we got some weather coming, so it's a good week to be in Orlando and be indoors.
Amen to
So, yeah. Pretty good bite from what I'm hearing over the weekend. The outgoing tide's been really, really good for the snook on the beach.
Full moon outgoing tide.
Yes, sir. Yes,
A
sir.
wise man once told me that.
Yeah, a wise man told me once too. So
nice.
That's the way it works. Yeah.
The snook on the beach have been crazy, and finally around the pass we're really starting to see solid numbers of them too. It was kind of a weak start. I think it has a lot to do with the bathymetry of John's Pass changing and evolving and making our dock a little shallower than it should be, unfortunately. But they seem to be settling in for sure. We're seeing more of them, and some pretty good ones caught this past week around the docks, which is cool to see. And man, the mangrove snapper have been nuts lately. That's been the big news around the pass.
Well, and we're starting to crawl into premier mangrove snapper season. I mean, it's been really, really good. Our guy for our OCC Roadhouse fishing conversation, Captain Glenn Taylor's been saying it's the year of the mango.
Yeah.
So, I can't, when he said that to me 2.5 months ago, I was like, okay, well, what's that going to mean when it's actually time?
Yeah, right.
If it's that good already, how good's it going to be, when it's go time? So, here we are. I'm kind of anxious to get ICAST behind me and get back to work here and see what that looks like. Usually the second half of July, August, we spend a lot of time snook fishing, but we also spend a lot of time snapper fishing. Whenever that tide kind of slows down a little bit, we can get those baits to the bottom and start to put some of those smaller pilchards in front of those mangrove snapper. That's what we do. So I'm anxious to see how good it's going to be with how good it's already been.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely inshore. That's a cool thing. You're targeting snook, trout, redfish. Those are the big things that everybody's after inshore, maybe some tarpon. But you need water movement. You want to fish those saloon or major minors. You need some things moving. And then when the tide slows down and stops, that's when you can shift gears and switch to those mangrove snapper on those dock lines, jetties, bridges, and it kind of gives you something else in your toolbox, if you will, this
100%.
time of year. It's pretty cool.
100%. And the macro bite, the macro bite should pick up some. I've got a couple of humps in Tampa Bay that I like to fish with customers, where there'll be a lot of jacks, there'll be a lot of trout, there'll be a lot of mackerel. It's exciting. Small sharks, little black tips. The black tip spawn happens here any day, and that usually leads to a bunch of, 18, 19, 20, even 24-inch little black tips running around. That's fun on light tackle. So, there's a lot to be excited about. It's a tough time to fish because it gets so hot. July and August, the dog days of summer. But, get out there early,
it's not bad.
Get baited up, and get to work.
It's not bad when you have an air-conditioned cabin and hot food, buddy.
Yeah, well, we're not all Hubbard's Marina, pal, but thanks for rubbing it in. We all can't claim to be the best cheeseburger on the Gulf. There's only one of them. So,
for miles.
Is that how we're going to start the week? And we're not even to ICAST yet, and you're already messing with me?
I started this morning on the radio show.
Oh, you did a little bit. You did. I keep trying to give you some latitude, but apparently it's how my week is shaping
you give an inch, I take a mile, buddy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All good.
Well, how's the tarpon bite been?
You know what? Still, from what I'm understanding, it's still pretty good.
Solid.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. It kind of petered out there a little bit towards, the last week of June or so.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it was going to stay that way, but here we are back on the moon. Yeah, those fish grouped back up on this moon, and that bite was pretty good. A lot less pressure, and that could have something to do with it, as it usually does. But pretty good bite right here. Just on the back side of that moon, that bite's going to be really late.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be almost willing to fish the bridge lights, but for those guys that are willing to put in that time, that bite's been pretty good.
Yeah, I noticed this week I was on the boat a lot with the kids and the family. My brother-in-law was in town from Colorado, so 2 or 3 different trips down to Shell Key area, Bunce's Pass, Egmont Key, and man, the Spanish sardines and thread fins are thick along the beach, crazy big schools, and then along with that, just countless tarpon boats sitting in the channel. Sitting outside the channel, up and along the swash channel, outside that second sandbar, sitting in Bunces. It was pretty crazy. So it's cool to see so much effort. I would imagine that equates to the fish still must be pretty thick if that many people are still out there angry with them.
If I had to guess, those boats are probably dead baiting,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really, really great tactic when you're not on the right tide.
Yeah,
And anything early would have been the wrong tide this week.
yeah,
Everything has to do with this full moon, the outgoing tide, the crab flush, all that's still going on. So if you want to have any luck during the day, and tarpon are just big scavengers is all they are. So,
yeah.
those guys that are willing to put in that time, just sit, soak some dead baits on the bottom, they do really, really well. Really
Yeah.
well.
We catch a lot of tarpon on the dock by accident when targeting those snook in the summertime with the carcasses, the little gray snapper carcasses and the skins of grouper and stuff like that. You drop them down and you can get some stud snook underneath the dock. The problem is every now and again you get that errant tarpon, and that's not a lot of fun. It's cool. They jump once, but they take all your stuff and kind of beat you up a little bit.
No doubt. They're a great fish, but they can get in the way when you're trying to do some other things. There's no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man.
No doubt.
Well, I appreciate it, and I guess I'll see you Wednesday morning over in Orlando.
Yes, sir. We'll chat and come up with a place to meet, and hopefully we'll both have a good show. We can get some stuff done for the radio show, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, looks like we're gonna have pretty crappy weather, so we might as well be in Orlando getting some stuff done.
Let's do it. All right, buddy. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you too. You bringing the whole team?
No, riding solo this time. Josh won't join me.
No?
No, I didn't.
Well,
I didn't ask him. We don't have a booth this time.
I don't even want to see if you're not bringing Josh.
Fine then.
Josh, the only reason I hang out with you. Come on.
You guys see this, right? Mike always plays such the victim. Like I'm the only one who gives Mike a hard time. But you guys are seeing this now, right? It goes both ways.
Listen, no, that's not a hard time, bro. I'm just giving Josh some love. I don't want to see my Josh guy. He's outstanding, bro.
I'll
He
show
makes your whole world go.
Mike, I'll be at the OCC event. How about that?
Oh, look at that.
I know, but
conjured him up.
how are we gonna have a really good, meaningful breakfast if it's not me and you and Bobby, Josh, everybody together? How are we gonna really get organized and
We'll have to
charge into the show?
We'll make like a cardboard cutout. Bobby will be there. He's at the Hyatt with us, so Bobby will be there.
Okay,
I'll give Dylan a sticker.
Here's what we'll do. What we'll do is we'll FaceTime you from breakfast.
All right, deal.
Josh will not be awake.
I will not be awake most likely.
Well, then we're going to FaceTime you for sure. Then you can count on it.
See you, Mike.
All right, guys. All right, see you.
Bye. Oh, man. Definitely a good time at ICAST last year. We were pushing right to hunt and fish, so we had a booth, and Josh and I were slaving away in the Florida Guides Association booth the whole 3 days, pushing the vote yes on two right to hunt and fish. And long story short, we got the job done, passed that legislation, which was cool. But this year, no booth. I don't want to be stuck in a booth, sitting down, hanging out. So it'll be nice to be mobile again and be able to see the show and move around. So, all right. With that, we've done all of our weather, and we talked to Capt Mike. want to make sure we get out some announcements. One announcement I want to mention, 12-hour night snapper this past Friday. Absolutely insane trip. They did really well, over 300 mangrove snapper, lots of lanes, porgies, vermilions, even a few red grouper. Really, really awesome 12-hour night snapper trip. The 12-hour night crushed them. And we did a dockside chat this morning on YouTube. That's another specialty YouTube video. Josh, can you bring up our YouTube channel real quick? We do have a ton of YouTube videos that are coming out all the time. We basically have been putting out a YouTube video almost every other day. We have this really cool Sharks and Goliath video, Shark and Goliath video. It was kind of an in-depth deep dive into our shark trip and shark fishing expeditions at Hubbard's Marina. It's pretty fun to watch. Got some really cool videos. We've got customer perspective 39-hour trip videos, crushing it with the cardies. We've got some updates on the fishery stuff, shallow water grouper, red grouper, and then we just today released the gag grouper in-depth announcement. Really got a lot of good information there to check out and what to expect next year in 2027 as well. So really dove deep on the gag grouper issues. So make sure you check out our YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe. And turn on notifications too, because you don't want to miss out on those videos. That dockside chat's going to come out in the next couple days. That's me, Captain Will, Captain James, and Captain Dylan Kilgore. So we talked a lot about that 12-hour night snapper trip, in depth about our 39-hour trips. Definitely pretty cool. So make sure you stay tuned to YouTube. Don't miss out. Let's go ahead and do our first giveaway of the night, and then we'll roll back into a few announcements and then your questions as well. So let's see here what we got questions-wise. But before we do, we'll make our first giveaway. So tonight, let's go ahead and give away our 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Remember, if you're picked as the lucky winner, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address. 5 minutes or less, your full home address if you're picked as one of the lucky winners. All right, let's see who won the the 5-hour fishing trip for 2 guests. 5-hour fishing trip for 2 guests goes to lucky me. I won. Hang on one second, guys. We'll re-pick that one. Just got to switch the screen here real fast. That's what I get for commenting on the live video. You ready, Josh? All right, 5-hour half day for 2 guests goes to, don't be Dylan Hubbard, James Smith. Congratulations on your 5-hour half day. He said he sets an alarm to remind him about the show every Sunday night. I guess that alarm paid off tonight, James. You won yourself a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Lucky winner tonight. Now, last week we had problems on Facebook and the show cut out before we could give away our 5-hour half day and 39-hour trip. So we are going to show the names of the winners for the 5-hour half day and 39-hour trip for last week. You've got 5 minutes or less if you're one of these people to shoot us a text message to show that you're watching the show live. So hopefully you watch every week, because you might have been picked as a lucky winner last week when the show crashed on Facebook and we continued on YouTube, and now you've got an opportunity to claim it. So let's see if last week's winners tuned in again this week. So the winners of the trip giveaways last week, the 5-hour half day for 5-hour half day, one lucky winner, 2 guests, David Amato. You got 5 minutes or less, David Amato, to text us your full home address and claim last week's winning. And then the 39-hour winner from last week was Gigi Wygand. Gigi Sarcone Wygand. You got 5 minutes or less, Gigi, to shoot us a message and claim your free 39-hour trip. So congrats, James Smith, David Amato, and Gigi Wygand. You got 5 minutes or less. Shoot us a text and claim your free trips. All right. Another announcement, 39-hour fishing has been going crazy good lately. Remember, June was super busy. July started to slow down. Now we're in the second half of July. It's really starting to slow down. We're not seeing a ton of people booking these Sunday trips. Tuesday trips pretty light too. Friday trips always stay a little bit busier. Come August, things really slow down. We've got 20 people on those Sunday trips in August. 25 or 30 people on the Tuesday trips in August, only 35, 40 people on the Friday trips in August. So light loads come August if you want a chance to join us for those 39-hour fishing trips. It's going to be a lot of fun, and that's the last full month for those red snapper. Also, don't forget as well, July 22nd, we've got the OCC Roadhouse event coming up July 22nd. Hopefully you can join us for that, again, July 22nd. So not this Tuesday coming up, but next Tuesday after. So essentially 9 days from now is the OCC Roadhouse event. And that'll be myself, Capt Mike Anderson, and Captain Glenn Taylor. Man, really fumbling tonight. So hopefully you can join all three of us there Tuesday night, July 22nd. From 7 to 9 p.m. It's going to be a blast. Went over the YouTube videos. Pretty much covered everything else. Oh, YouTube. So again, last week we had a problem on Facebook. A couple weeks ago we had a problem on Facebook. So we are strongly considering, probably going to switch. We currently stream on Facebook and YouTube and Trovo, Twitch, and Instagram. But kind of Facebook and YouTube are the two big ones. But a lot of people watch on Facebook because you have to comment on Facebook in order to be eligible to win free trips. We are probably going to switch that over to YouTube after August 1st. So our first show would be August 3rd. So you got time. Don't freak out. Nothing changing tonight. Nothing changing next week, but pretty soon it's going to be, in order to win free trips, you have to comment on YouTube one time. And it wouldn't matter if you commented on Facebook or not. We'd still want you to comment on Facebook. We still want you to watch on Facebook, but we're going to try to incentivize and encourage people to watch on YouTube after August 1st. Again, not tonight, not next week, after August 1st. Because, again, YouTube has been so much more stable. We haven't had any problems on YouTube, and we feel this would be a good idea. We've seen multiple people, even tonight, having a little bit of problems on Facebook, and we just feel YouTube is more steady, safe, and reliable. So we're trying to make that switch. So keep that in mind. Nothing tonight. I'll remind you again next week. We got a couple weeks, actually. So next week is the 20th. Then the week after is the 27th, which is my wife's birthday. So I don't know if we're going to have a show that night. Well, speaking of, looking at the calendar, I should probably get on that. Woo! You know when you realize something and you feel like a cold sweat come on you, like you forgot something really important? That just happened. Got to write that one down. So probably no show July 27th, y'all. But, again, we'll remind you. So, keep that in mind. You don't have to install YouTube, man. YouTube is a website page. So, it's even easier to watch on YouTube than Facebook. Because you don't have to have an app. You can just go to the internet. It makes it real easy. Everybody can watch YouTube. My 4-year-old daughter cruises YouTube by herself now, which is scary. And then also, one of our biggest demographics on YouTube is 65 and up. So a lot of people watch YouTube of all ages. It's easy, super easy to use, and it's been reliable. So the idea, again, is you can still watch on Facebook. We're not saying you can't watch on Facebook. We're not saying we're not going to stream on Facebook. We're just going to say that YouTube is the focus moving forward because YouTube has been more reliable, and we want our show to be reliable. We want you guys to be able to tune in and not have issues. That's the goal. All right, let's get into the questions, and we'll talk more about that next week. Let's see here. Hey, this is Chuck Carrier. I haven't fished over there in a long time. Wondering if you guys are still seeing the big cuberas on the elbow, or have they been completely fished out? Yeah, we see a lot of big cuberas coming soon. August, September, end of summer is when the big cuberas show up in our areas. We see a lot of them. What is a good entry-level conventional rod for your 39-hour trip? First question, anytime anybody asks me a question like that, what is your budget? Are we balling on a budget? Is it $300, or are we middle budget, $400, $500, $600, or are we talking $1,000? So entry level combo can mean so many different things to so many different people. So if you give me a little bit of an idea on a budget, I can message you back and give you a little bit more specifics. But generally, Bass Pro Shops offshore angler Seafire reels is your best, hands down, balling on a budget combo. It is crazy how good quality that reel is, and how well it stands up, and how powerful it is, and the torque and the drag is really nice. That's what we use for our rental reels, and they can be used and abused, and they keep on ticking. So the Bass Pro Shops offshore angler Seafire reel is, I think, like, they retail for like $90. It's crazy cheap, and you could slap that on another $90 to $100 rod, and you got a $200 entry level combo. Step up from that would be like Penn Fathom. You're talking $250, $300, but Penn has terrible customer service, and their products suck. Just throwing that out there. Really bad experiences with Penn. And then step up from that would be like some lower level Daiwa stuff, like the Sea Line series. You're looking $350-ish, $300, $350, $400. You could pair it with like the reel is like $150, $180. You could pair it with like a $120, $140 rod we have in the shop. So you're looking at $300, $330-ish dollars. Then you could go up to like a Shimano Speedmaster. It's kind of middle road, really nice quality. You start to get into real nice quality with the Speedmaster. And then from there, the high-end stuff is like the Saltiga, the Talica, the Accurates. There's a lot of good stuff. So let me know your budget, and I can give you some more specific information. All right. So I started a book and had these questions. I don't think this is for this live show, man. I'll answer that after. Oh, no, I can answer that one. I was on a 39-hour trip July 1st trying to figure out who I can get the photos from. So it depends on who took the photos and what trip you were on. So when you're on a trip with our professional photographers, they take really high-end cameras, and they only film video. They take very few photos, and it's just video. And it takes about 3 or 4 weeks for that video to get edited and posted to our YouTube channel. Sometimes even 4 or 5 weeks. If it's some of our folks using the GoPros, then you just have to let us know, and we can dig around for those, because that's not always consistently brought into us. If it was our friends Carrie and Scott Carty, the Crushing It with the Carty's crew, their videos get turned around in about a week and a half. They're really quick, and they're really cool if you haven't caught them on YouTube yet. Their photos we should have basically within a week or a week and a half or less up on our website. So if you're wondering about photos from a trip, drop me an email, info@hubbardsmarina.com, and I can help you out. Tell me what trip you were on, when you were on it, and I'll do my best to help you find them. What type of rod and line do you supply with a 12-hour extreme trip? A Bass Pro Shops offshore angler Seafire reel with a 60-pound mono main line, and then generally on the extreme trip we're using 60, 80-pound leader and about a 7 to 10-aught hook. Do you charge for fish cleaning? If you're on a party boat trip, yes. If you're on a private charter, no. It's 25 cents a pound on the big fish on the party boats, or 3 fish for $1 on the shorter trips. Captain Brian and Garrett still around? Yeah, Captain Garrett runs occasionally. Captain Brian doesn't run trips anymore. He is a full-time magician, superhero, Superman. When we're having problems, something won't start, something's making weird noises, something's leaking, you just have this bat symbol we shine up in the sky, and Captain Brian shows up and flies into an engine room and flies out, and things are running great. So Captain Brian is definitely still around. He's around the dock almost every day, but if everything's working well, he disappears quickly. But if something's broken, he shows up really, really fast. Yesterday, he showed up and fixed the dinner boat. So he even fixes other boats in the area that have problems. He's a magician of all sorts. So yes, Captain Brian's great. It scares me when I see him, honestly, because like he walks up and it's like the plague doctor. That's his joke. Like you see him and something. What's wrong? What broke? What don't I know about? Who hasn't told me something yet? But sometimes he's just down there drinking coffee, hanging out, being a cool guy. So those are positive times when I see Captain Brian.
No wonder why he wants to retire on a sailboat, because he's tired of fixing all these motors.
Well, he likes it. Yeah, that's what he likes to do. And we'd love to have him run trips, but he doesn't want to. And right now, Brian can do whatever he wants. Because like I said, he's Superman. So if he wants the palm frond blowing in his face while he's sitting on the beach drinking a coconut drink, we'll make that happen for him. Keep him around. What's the difference for a regular trip and an extreme trip? So the 12-hour extreme trip is unique. The 12-hour extreme is on a smaller, faster boat. It's like a split charter style trip. You can book it like a party boat, meaning you could book one person, 2 people, 6 people, 10 people. It's up to you. So you can book any size group on that Flying Hub 2 12-hour extreme trip. But it's like a split charter because we only take up to 16. It's on a private charter boat, so it's very unique. Smaller group, more one-on-one time. You're kind of treated like a private charter guest. But we call it an extreme trip for a reason. The boat is a smaller charter boat. There's no air-conditioned cabin. There's no galley. You got to bring all your own food. You're out in the heat all day. There's no air conditioning. Did I mention that? And there's not a lot of escape from the sun. And it's a fast boat. So a 2-foot sea for 2.5 hours at 40 miles an hour can beat you up a little bit if you're not ready for it. So even in calmer conditions, it can be extreme because it's not that comfortable going that fast, that far, for that long. It's not the Florida Fisherman 2. On a 39-hour trip or 44-hour trip, a 2-foot sea, you don't even feel it. And we go slow, we're just kind of cruising. Big, super wide, stable, you're sleeping in the AC. Get a little hot during the day, go inside and watch a movie, drink a cold beer, eat a warm cheeseburger, hot cheeseburger off the grill, and sit in front of the AC, man. It's nice. So a lot more creature comfort on the big, slower party boats. But if you want 39-hour quality fish, but you don't have all 39 hours to spend on a boat, the 12-hour extreme is a great option for you. Just extremely weather sensitive. We need nicer weather. 2.5 foot or less. Maybe sometimes we can push it 2.5, 3 foot, but anything more than 3 foot, generally we have to cancel. We need nice weather to make it out there in the extreme trip, but it's a great platform, a fish killing machine. When the weather's nice and you're able to get out there and make it pop, it's awesome. Go back to that one from Neil there. Or did we lose it? Oh, there it is. Neil asked, are there any slow pitch jig trips coming up? So we used to offer a slow pitch jig fishing only 12-hour extreme trip. So I think it was like once a month we were doing a jigging only 12-hour trip. And it was hugely popular at first. And then after about 1.5 years, it started losing popularity. And a lot of people wanted to do jig fishing and bait fishing. And on that trip, we were only allowing jigs. So it got a little bit convoluted. And a lot of those people preferred to do 39-hour trips where other people were jig fishing. Other people were bait fishing. So you got a little bait in the water, plus you could do some jigging. And that means your jig is something a little different than everybody else. So long story short, it was super popular. Then it kind of waned out. Now it's coming back. We're bringing it back. So not during red snapper season, but come late September, October-ish, look out. The slow pitch jigging only trips will be coming back. I do need to talk to Joe about that. He was the one who asked to bring it back, Captain Joe. And Captain Joe will be running these because it's his idea. So Captain Joe bringing back the 12-hour trips, the SPJ only 12-hour trips. We'll talk with Joe and we'll get you some announcements on that here soon. We'll plan some dates for the end of the year. Probably, like I said, maybe one a month, maybe one every other month, something like that. But to answer your question, they're coming back. Joe wants to bring them back. So we'll see. We'll see how that falls. But thank you for the question and the reminder. It's good to make a note of that. Let's do another giveaway, Josh, and then we'll answer a few more questions here. So we did, which giveaway did we do? We did the 5-hour, right? Yeah. So we got to do the 10-hour all-day trip. 10-hour all-day trip for one lucky winner. 10-hour all-day for one lucky winner. Oh, I forgot. So we have a title sponsor, Gator Gyms. 39-hour sponsor is our Innovative Pools and Spa. 10-hour all-day giveaway is brought to you by our friends over at Bass Pro Shops. Team Outdoors. Appreciate our friends at Bass Pro Shops working with us on their great Seafire tackle, the Offshore Angler Series. We've been using it since the Tampa Bass Pro Shops, I think, was built in like 2016 or 2017. We've been using their tackle since before that shop was open. And we actually helped them develop that Seafire offshore angler line. So like I said earlier in the show, if you're balling on a budget, they have a really good reel option for you. Plus, they have some other really good saltwater stuff. And through our partnership growing here, we're going to start bringing in some of that stuff to the captains and crew, and hopefully be playing with some new gear very shortly, which, of course, we'll include you guys on. So 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests, brought to you by our friends at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Lucky winner is Dan Dodge from Michigan. Congrats, Dan, on that lucky win. 10-hour all day for 2 guests. All right. With that, let's see what our next question is. Is the boat crowded for shark fishing? Check out the video, man. We just uploaded that new cool video on YouTube. So our shark fishing trip, we only allow up to 9 people. The boat's licensed for 16, so it's only half full, essentially. And the 12-hour extreme boat can take out quite a few. 16 is not a lot. And there's a lot of trips with less than 16 coming up, especially once we get into August. There's a lot of light loads on those extreme trips. You mentioned that we might not have an amberjack season. When will they finalize amberjack? That is a great freaking question, man. So gag grouper season is supposed to open when? September 1st. It's mid-July. We're basically a month and a half away from opening of that gag grouper season, and we just got the announcement. Amberjack is gonna open September 1st as well, unless they make some kind of announcement about amberjack. So very strange, but I would say we have to just hurry up and wait, because it's been a little bit weird on the delays, but also it's a product of what's been going on in the federal government. The Southeast Regional Office lost a lot of staff, and then headquarters lost even more staff. And how these rules work is the council makes a recommendation to the Southeast Regional Office of NOAA, and then they take that recommendation, go through lawmaking, and they transmit it to headquarters. Headquarters reviews it, goes through this crazy process, and then it's made final. And that's when they submit the press releases, they publish it in the Federal Register, and that's when it becomes final. Unfortunately, things are taking a really long time. That gag grouper final announcement was in headquarters for 3.5 weeks, almost a month. And normally it's just like half a week or so that it takes to turn those around. So things have really slowed down, unfortunately. The extremely excruciatingly slow federal government process has somehow become even more excruciatingly slow, unfortunately. Man, that's 2 shows in a row we've just been dogging the government. I feel like that's a trend right now. Are you all booked up for gag season? Yes, pretty much. We have room. We added new 12-hour extreme trips. So we have room on September 9th, 12-hour extreme, September 11th, 12-hour extreme, and that's it. Oh, September 8th. So September 8th, 9th, and 11th are the only trips with room. The 39-hour trips are all sold out. Keep in mind the 39-hour trip on the 14th used to have quite a bit of room. It's been filling up, but that trip will not be able to keep gags because your trip has to leave and return during open season to be able to keep them. And remember, gags close at the end of day, September 14th. That September 14th 39-hour trip leaves at 9 a.m. on the 14th and comes back midnight on the 15th because we want to get that last 39-hour trip in for red snapper season. Red snapper end the end of day on the 15th. So kind of a weird one. What is the best months to target nearshore hogfish? We talked about that earlier in the show when we were going through the photos. The best months are October, November-ish to March, April-ish, depending on, essentially depending on water temperatures. And once that water starts to get cold, October, November-ish, and it starts to really concentrate the fish because the cold fronts start rolling through. The cold fronts, they'll bring low pressures, adverse weather conditions. Those fish start to congregate more on the structure, on the smaller ledges, stuff like that. And then as we forward into spring and it starts to warm back up, the fish start to spread out. Those cold fronts get a little bit fewer and farther between. On my 39-hour trips, I buy northern mackerel. Are you stockpiling goggle eyes? Yes, so we carry goggle eyes at Hubbard's Marina now, and northern mackerel at Hubbard's Marina now, and bonita, and whole squid, and whole octopus. So we've got a lot of different options for you bait-wise, some specialty baits in our freezer. Do you have any trips for gags? Yes, we talked about that one. Good question. My son and I would like to know the best place to try to catch snapper in local waters around Johns Pass. The south side of the Johns Pass Bridge is probably my favorite. Slack tide. End of an incoming tide. Get out there and chum it up a little bit. Real light, not crazy. Couple small chunks of, couple small pieces of shrimp. 4 or 5, then maybe 5, 6, 7, then maybe 10, 12, and then stop. And those mangrove snapper will start coming out. Maybe a handful of that snapper up from Aquatic Nutrition, Sport Fish and Chum, or something similar. And get that water chummed up as that tide's slowing down at the very end of an incoming tide. And it gets them really, really coming out of the rocks. And then as the tide goes slack, you should have about an hour, hour and a half before that tide starts moving out. And you can free line small pieces of shrimp, cut up greenbacks or small thread fins, and you'll crush it for sure. Crush it. I said the word. Man, try to make it the whole show without saying it. Couldn't. Oh well. So yeah, you'll do really well. We see a lot of mangrove snapper around docks, piers, bridges, jetties. The south side of the Johns Pass Bridge, it gets to be 15, 20 foot deep, and it's really rocky over there. So there's a ton of those mangrove snapper. You can catch them right off the Hubbard's dock too. We catch quite a few. I bring my kids down there, and we catch. My daughter Emma, my 4-year-old, will catch probably 5 to 7 mangrove snapper between 8 to 10 inches pretty quickly. She loves it. All right, what else we got? What is Captain Bobby doing? He's actually coming back. He's trying to come back. He's feeling better, so hopefully we'll have Captain Bobby coming back very shortly. Why did you guys stop running 12-hour day trips? Because they sucked. The 12-hour day trip, we do have the 12-hour day trip on the Flying Hub 2, the extreme trip. The 12-hour day trip on the party boat was tough because we had to run 3.5 hours out. So 3.5 hours out, 3.5 hours back. That's a really long ride. We burn a ton of fuel, so we had to charge a lot of money. So you're paying $250, and then you get out there and we're fishing. We leave at 6 a.m. So by the time you get out there, it's 9:30 in the morning. And by the time we have to come home, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're fishing right in the middle of the day, which is the worst. And that's why the extreme trip leaves at 5 a.m. We get out there and we start fishing at 7 before it starts getting too hot. We get that morning bite. Sometimes we even start fishing at sunrise, depending on the time of year. That's the reason the extreme trip leaves so early. So it doesn't give us a lot of time to fish. It gives us a very limited movement because it's a bigger, slower boat. And we don't get out there that far. Even after 3.5 hour ride, we're only 45, 50 miles, which is just starting to get good area, right? So it's tough. And you're paying a lot of money, $250. We'd probably have to charge at least $250. I think we charged $250 back in the day. It might be like $299 now. I'd have to do the math and see what it would be. But you'd be paying a ton of money for a trip that I have this much confidence in. Even the greatest captain, you give them 3 or 4 hours on a 13 knot boat, 12 knot boat, in 40 to 50 miles, which is not the greatest area, you're not going to be able to do well. The cards are stacked against us, and that's a very hero or zero trip. You go out there and you can have a really good day, and you could catch 40 keeper red grouper in a boat limit of red snapper. Everybody gets 2 fish, 3 fish maybe. So now you've paid $300 and you've gotten 3 fish, and people were pissed. We'd have days where I'm like, man, it was a great trip. We got a limit of red snapper. We got 10 red grouper with them. We got a couple mangroves. You're feeling good, and you come in and there's 3 bad reviews because people were pissed. They got on this trip expecting the 39-hour catch, but they're getting the day trip catch, and it just that trip, per number of people that went, the negative reviews were higher, like 10 to 1 compared to any other trip. It set us up for failure. It was a really, really tough trip because a lot of the times you come back and it was a slow bite. You might have 15, 20 red snapper and 5 red grouper for 30 people. Now everybody's got 1 fish, and they paid $250, $300, and it's not a good thing. It's hard to make people happy with just a few fish, and it's a long ride. So you got 3 hours to think about how bad that sucked. So yeah, that's the reason we don't offer the 12-hour day trips anymore on the party boats, and that's the reason we built a $500,000 boat in the Flying Hub 2 to get you out there really far, really fast. Because we know the fishing can be really good if we got more time, we got more speed, more agility, and we can get you out there to that depth. That's why we built the Flying Hub 2. All right. Next, are you saying it's time to go, Josh? Do we have any more questions? We got one more to end on. Positive note. Best time of year for a 39-hour, 44-hour, anytime, all year. The best time, in my opinion, would be like May or like October, November. Beautiful, and probably October-ish. Yeah, October. Because I like those transition periods. It's not hot, it's not cold. Really nice that time of year. April, May, October, November. Really, I'm gonna make it 4 months. April, May, October, November, those shoulder seasons. It's not summer, it's not winter. We don't really have fall and spring here. It's just kind of either summer or winter, which is basically summer with a bunch of cold fronts in there. So I definitely would say April, May, October, November are my favorite times. Probably October, November is my favorite because April, May is still kind of busy. You got spring in there, people around. October, November, there's hardly anybody here. Boat's super, super light, not a lot of people around, and it's gorgeous weather. It's not super crazy hot anymore. It's not cold really yet. And it's just, the fishing is insane because all those warm weather patterns are still happening. The cold weather patterns haven't set in yet. So I really like that time of year. But even December, January is really good as long as you're avoiding those cold fronts. If you can time your trips around those fronts, the fishing is insane. There's not a lot of people around. February is a little bit tougher because it does get cold, and the cold fronts are pretty common. But if you get nice weather, February can be great too. March starts to get tough because spring break is there. There's a lot of people around. April, really until Easter happens, and then once Easter happens, it slows down. So the end of April after Easter gets good. May is great. I would just straight up not come in June, July because people are crazy about the red snapper. But then end of July, people start to forget. End of July, August has been lighter. The first 2 weeks of September is crazy with the gags, obviously, this year. But end of September, October, it's going to start getting nice again. Not a lot of people around. But it depends on what you want to catch. You want to catch a gag, you got to go in those crazy 2 weeks at the beginning of September. If you want an amber, or if you want a red snapper, you got to go, I would suggest, in August when there's less people around. So it depends on what you want to catch as well. All right, with that, let's do our last giveaway of the night, the 39-hour fishing trip for one lucky winner. This is brought to you by our friends over at Innovative Pools and Spa. Remember, Innovative Pools and Spa brings you 35 years of experience building pools in the Tampa Bay area, and they continue the legacy of their father's company, which was recognized as a top pool builder in the area for over 3 decades. Plus, they continue to raise the bar on pool construction, design, and features. And they have an unparalleled passion for the industry. Call them today at 727-788-1650 or visit them online at innovativepoolsandspa.net for an estimate and see why Innovative Pools and Spa are the top choice for families in our community. All right, with that, we got to give away that 39-hour trip. I love how people are making bingo cards. Mick said, what do we need on our bigger bingo card? Government, insane, chicken rig, and crush. You know, I'd probably say at least one of those words every show. You guys would be, that'd be a good bingo game. I'm not going to deny that. My mother-in-law was picking on me this last week. I was sharing with Josh before the show. She says that I say insane, rip, crush a lot. I didn't realize I'm so repetitive, but doing these shows, you're keeping me honest. I appreciate the feedback, and I'll continue to try to improve. But I really like the word crush. I don't know why. The hurricane thing, I don't get it. Do I say that weird? I feel like I say hurricane normally. All right, whatever, man. I'm going to let that one slide, and I'm going to keep saying it the way it should be said, hurricane. I feel like I don't say that weird. All right. Don't forget, next week, 7:30 p.m., definitely join us every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Hopefully, you guys will be there or be square. We got lots to talk about next week, post-ICAST, and post a long week, so hopefully you can join us. Big shout out to my daughter Emma. She turned 4 today, technically tomorrow, but today was a birthday, so happy birthday, Emma. And hopefully we'll see you guys next week for another episode every Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. When's the supporters after show, Josh? 8:55. If you're on our supporters group, join us for the after show at 8:55. Exponentially. I do say exponentially a lot. I like that word too. I don't know why, But touche. Yes, 22nd, we'll be at the restaurant OCC Roadhouse, July 22nd from 7 to 9 p.m. You guys are fun. I like you guys. All right, 8:55 for the Supporters After Show. Let's see who won the 39-hour fishing trip for one lucky winner. 39-hour trip for one lucky winner goes to, hopefully no one that's been mean tonight. Tyler Maloof from Wisconsin. Congratulations, my brother. You won a 39-hour trip for one lucky winner. Y'all have a good night. Tight lines. We'll see you next week for another episode. Don't forget to tell your friends. Don't forget to check out YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. Got lots of new cool videos coming out. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And we'll see you again next week. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. 8:55 for Supporters After Show, y'all.